You can be first one day and last the next one, so nothing is for granted.
This event is the best sailing event I've done ever.
Double-digit finishes. Avoid them. That's the advice of Marcus Hoglander, the tactician on board the Royal Swedish Yacht Club, after 3 races yesterday on the first day of the Rolex New York Yacht Club Invitational Cup here in Newport. And we enter day 2 with more racing scheduled on Rhode Island Sound, and with the Yacht Club Argentino, our clear breakaway winner after 3 races today. They start the day with the yellow spinnaker, and we'll see what happens. With me here in studio, Andy Green, out of the water, the wonderful Katie Nastro. It's going to be, if it's anything like it was yesterday, it's going to be fun to watch. What are your expectations for the day, Andy?
Well, I'm extremely excited to be back here. Every 2 years we have this incredible international smorgasbord of sailing teams from all around the world. Dave Reed joining us here, the editor and managing director of Sailing World, and we have on screen right now for your pleasure the results from yesterday. 3 races, very light air. Yacht Club Argentino did a superb job, a 2-2-1 over Royal New Zealand Yacht Squadron, Royal Swedish Yacht Club, and the little club that could, Itchner Sailing Club, in 4th, San Diego in 5th. Interesting thing about this is New York Yacht Club, Royal Canadian, Royal Sydney, Southern Yacht Club, all previous winners, nobody in the top 5. So fascinating. We've got probably 3 races today, very mixed up conditions. Right now on the race course, let's get out there. 11 to 14 knots, quite bumpy from the south. 185 on time start, and here we go with the lineup. We'll get the numbers on the screen, and we're going to take you right into the action. Dave, here we go.
Here we go, lining up. And to that note about the double-digit finishes, the top 3 boats were the only boats that avoided anything beyond top 10.
Well, Itchner I spoke to last night at the party. We had the Defenders Party, where the Royal Southern Yacht Club get to choose the menu, and they brought in their beignet specialist from New Orleans. But look at the bumpy. It's 11 to 12 knots, so not quite enough to get them really motoring, but the boat's hobby horsing up and down, chopping wood like nodding donkeys in an oil field. As we come down towards the line, we've got less than 20 seconds to go. 3 boats at the pin, and we'll get the time up in a second. Not quite the same conditions as yesterday, a little more challenging. And just up from the pin, looks like good spots there. We're going to get into the track as well. We're going to give you the info, but keep this shot right here. Look at the pin. Okay, one boat there. That is not going to make it. No way. And they get peeled out. Excellent start from the pin. Sorry we didn't get the time for you there, but we will... there, Southern Yacht Club, they were at the pin, and we're just going to confirm to you the boat that number 3. That's
03. That's probably Atlantica Yacht Club, I think. Well, that was
Royal Sydney Yacht Squadron get peeled out at the pin there, so they are on port now, ducking the entire fleet. Southern Yacht Club with Hoth just to windward of them. And looked like a reasonably good start from Yacht Club Argentino. They're bow 18. Then we've got just above them 16 Royal Canadian and bow number 5. Tyler Sinks back for the San Diego Yacht Club, the oft bridesmaid at this regatta. Can San Diego Yacht Club get their act together and finally win one, Dave?
I think there's going to be a lot of act getting together today. I think that was the general sense that yesterday there was in the lighter stuff. There were some new teams that emerged to the front, and some of the normal front runners muddled in the middle. And today, with a little more breeze, those teams expected to ship things up a little bit, and I think we're going to see a lot of movement in the middle.
I like where San Diego Yacht Club are, just up from the pin there, boat 05, bow 05. Southern are putting their bow down. Hoth just underneath the second in. They are trying to keep their lane, but that looks very tricky for Hoth Yacht Club from Ireland. They're going to be looking for a spot to tack away, and Yacht Club Argentino are getting in a bit of a bad spot there. They are in a thin lane where San Diego are squeezing them out, so not good for Yacht Club Argentino. We'll get the tracker out and have a little more look-see at where we're at as the boats now split left and right.
That seemed to be the theme, talking around the tent this morning after the skipper's meeting with the more lumpy sea state today. It was going to be a much more of a kind of a gear change day versus yesterday just was more looking out the boat, looking for the shifts that were certainly finding a rhythm and getting to the right side of them. But so today it's going to be a much more, I think, dynamic sail trim kind of day. So
when you say gear changing, dynamic sail trim, what does that mean? The crews have to...
Yeah, the shift, got the shifter just like in your Volkswagen Jetta. But you got the primary, we call the big ropes, the backstay, main sheet, jib sheet trim, those, every time you get this little change in the wind direction or a little more lumpy sea state, make some adjustments to power up the sails, depower them, and don't get stuck at the wrong gear, I guess is the goal.
Right. Yeah, keep the boat going fast. That's the most important thing on board right now with the Royal Canadian Yacht Club. Terry McLaughlin, previous winner of this event, Olympian. And if you've ever been to the Royal Canadian Yacht Club, you will know that he's probably pretty good at lawn bowls as well, because they have some of the most spectacular lawn bowls you can possibly find. And here we are on board with them.
Sort of precision grass cutting, is that what that starts with?
Yeah, exactly. The right-hand side, on the track, the right-hand side is definitely looking a little favoured.
As we go on board the Royal Swedish Yacht Club, speaking to the jib trimmer this morning, they felt, quote, they were very fast upwind and downwind, and yesterday, as long as they could get off the start, they had no problem doing what they need to do.
Yeah, great. Here we are on board. It looks very calm on board the Royal Swedish Yacht Club. But they are still trying to get themselves out. They're in about 11th, so they're just to windward of the whole bunch on the left-hand side. So there they are. They are going towards us, but they're the furthest upstream that are still on starboard. And then we've got the other group who are banging the right-hand side. I don't mind the right-hand side, actually. There's a bit of ebb tide going out of Narragansett Bay, and the breeze is unlikely to go any further left. Here we go with Itchner Sailing Club. They're on starboard now, coming up the race course. They look like they're in reasonably good shape there. Where's Itchner on the tracker? Itchner being called as 7th at the moment, so that must mean they're somehow on the left-hand side, because all the boats, on the right-hand side, because all the boats on the right look like they do. There's Traveller coming up. As it gets quiet, they go through a little light spot, and
Yep, I think as what you're seeing here on the tracker, though, is going to be deceiving, right, as the fleets split side to side. And so there's probably a good chance to check in with Katie Nastro out on the water somewhere in the mix, figuring out, going to let us know what's happening outside there. Katie, what's happening?
Yes, hi, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Morning live from the water. Good. You never know with the old, well, anyway. So we're up at the top of the course, and I have to say, coming out is definitely a different speed pace than yesterday. Much more rolly, definitely a bowl of oatmeal out here, very lumpy. I have to say, though, the top of the course is looking like there's a little bit more breeze. Those boats to the left-hand side of the course, not looking as breezy as the right-hand side, but definitely top of the course there is more pressure. So I think this split is going to be very telling once the boats make their way up to that.
Okay, just give us a little more about conditions. I mean, on the track, it's showing us that the right-hand side is way favored at the moment. Is that how it seems to you?
Yes, definitely. Those boats on that right-hand side look very lifted. Again, more pressure up further in the course.
Yeah.
And I think it's only time will tell to see, who's really going to make out. But, again, not a betting woman, and we're not taking bets here. But that right side looks a bit more favored. But, yeah, when we got out here, it was a bit more wind than yesterday. So I have to say that I do believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, the forecast is looking like this is kind of going to be it, and it'll kind of peak around 2 p.m. Less throughout the day. Is that the story for
well, there's talk about a front coming through a little later on after lunch, and that is talking about the breeze going 15-20 degrees to the right-hand side. Now, it looks to me like right on the start we had at least a 5 or 6 degree right-hand shift, maybe 2 or 3 minutes after the start. So the boats that went right look in good shape. And what I really want. One of the things I'd love you to keep your eyes on is the cloud formation and whether there's any rain cells that are coming in over Point Judith and from Long Island, Block Island from the southwest.
Andy, I will be your weather girl. Eyes will be out, and I will check back in with you all soon.
Okay, well, you say you're not a gambling girl, but I'll be honest, Katie, everyone gambles in life somehow. It's all about taking a little risk here and there. Just depends whether you do it with actual hard money cash or not.
Yeah, no, cash definitely not my bag.
Okay, great. We're on board with Royal Canadian Yacht Club, who had to do a big duck underneath Yacht Club Argentino. Great action on board, lots of chat. Yacht Club Punta del Este. So they are going south of the South American teams there, the Royal Canadians, from all the way up north, and that really hurt them. But that shows how keen they are to get to the right-hand side, Dave.
Yeah, or maybe that may be one of those things where I believe they were the leftmost off that start, and at some point you got to pick your poison and go, we're going to get out of here, we're going to get hung out here too far left. So I guess that was their opportunity, yeah, you're right, to check back in with the other half.
They were the ones that got peeled out of the pin.
Right.
They couldn't make the pin, so they were on port, and they had to... Okay, here we go, Yacht Club Argentino, current leaders on board with them right now, and crossing them, bow number 5, San Diego Yacht Club. So Yacht Club Argentino right back in it. These guys are pretty quick. Fast. That's going to help them enormously as they get around this race course. And remember, they are currently leading. So the standings are Yacht Club Argentino.
5 points.
5 points.
How about that, finishing the first day with 5 points, 3 races? Amazing.
Well, it has happened before. Royal Thames, in fact, if I remember correctly, only last year started with a 2-2-1 and were very much the team to beat, but they just got squeezed. They didn't have a very good middle of the regatta. They got some 8s and 9s, and that was enough to let Southern Yacht Club just get ahead of them. Oh, lovely shots by the drone. There's the New York Yacht Club, bow number 4, just to leeward.
And top of the rankings, or at least positioning in second now. This would be, I guess, considered the Invitational Cup Ironman, Anthony O'Leary, and the Royal Yacht Club is believed to have sailed every single one of these regattas since it started back in 2009. So there was thought this morning that the Irish would, this kind of lumpy, breezier stuff would be their liking, and so far so good.
Yeah, well, they're quite used to it, those waters off the Royal Cork. Very similar to this, actually, a bay situation where there's a headland to the west. And when you come out of the Crosshaven harbour. It's extremely similar to this with a Atlantic chop, sometimes a swell, but often it builds into this sort of bumpy chop like we can see today. But Peter McClellan and his crew on the New York Yacht Club doing very nice. But look at everyone all the way. Got to go right, got to go right. Everyone hitting the right-hand side. And all the boats who are at the right, the Japanese Sailing Federation, well ahead. And in fact, more right-hand breezes coming.
And the Japanese Sailing Federation members started this thing yesterday. The first race was a third, and definitely got everybody's attention, but then had a little struggle on the second race, and piled on a lot of points on the last race with the DNF, and so they're going to have to be climbing out of the bottom of the fleet here.
Yeah, they've been sharpening their samurai swords, ready for a bit of battle today. Here we go, Itchner Sailing Club on the helm there. Andy Fitzgerald, famous international 14 sailor of some note, has been racing those boats for 20, 30 years probably. And here we go with the Royal Canadian Yacht Club, Terry McLaughlin, Olympian. There's talent up and down the fleet. It's real tough out there. Planning to get in 3 races today, that's the goal. At least 3, in fact, because the weather deteriorates as the week continues, and it deteriorates on Saturday so much that they're calling for 50 knot gusts of wind. So if you've got a boat in Newport Harbour, probably might be the time to give it an extra line or 2.
Yeah, and even though these jibs can be reefed by rolling and zipping up the foot in the mainscape reef, that's class limit is well outside that forecast range.
Yeah, you could actually see it on that onboard shot. Maybe we can get Costas just to take us back to that onboard, because it'd be a nice moment to just check out the way the jib actually rolls up while it's and they do it from the bottom. It's quite clever. 2 or 3 feet of the jib goes up, and next time we go on board we'll show you that on the jib. Royal Sydney Yacht Squadron, previous winners.
There you go.
I'm going to say Giorgio, but it's not Giorgio.
Quite spread out here at the top of the third as they get into the, it's this long port-tack ley line here, and it's all going to pile in pretty quick is my guess. And I think right now the Japan Sailing Federation in a pretty good spot. Nice open space around them to be able to do what they need to do and sail the boat fast.
Guido Belgiorno Nettis. And they won this event 2019, and they just squeezed it by a couple of points over San Diego Yacht Club, the bridesmaids. Royal Court were 3rd in 2019. Here we are on board the Royal Canadian Yacht Club. They're just ducking underneath the Corinthian Yacht Club from Marblehead. These icy okay, so we're on board. You can see, if you look forward at the jib, there's a white stripe, and that's like a trimming stripe, just gives you an idea of the shape of the jib. Ooh, bumpy. But above that, diagonally up, that is where the jib can get rolled up into a reef point, and then the jib is trimmed from a little higher. They then obviously let the sail down a little bit, and that gives them a substantial amount of reefing. And when we get Kenny Reid in as our guest on Friday, he can tell us all the deets.
Yeah, I think at first people were cursing those stupid zippers, but probably a lot easier than sail changes, and certainly keeps the cost of the sail plan low on these boats.
Right.
But the Royal Hong Kong Yacht Club team we haven't talked about, because they weren't chipping away much at the front yesterday, but they've been at this thing for a long time. Skipper Peter Black and tactician Duncan Gregor, they're going to be looking to get a top finisher. Yeah,
on board with Yacht Club Argentino right now. This is great. He's trying to hold a thin lane. What are the challenges when it's bumpy like this, right? Harder.
Hard, impossible. No, not impossible, but just harder. You're really going to work the sails a lot more than you might otherwise.
So you can see them in the sort of, not only in the chop, but also in the wake of the Southern Yacht Club boat, and they're trying to keep their wind clear. They're trying to hold a lane, and that looks very tricky for Yacht Club Argentino right now, who are, where are they? Not great in the standings. 18th. Oh dear, they hit the left-hand side. The left-hand side is no bueno today.
Yeah, they were they were surgical. Yes, if you go back to some of the races and about how they sailed the course, and
Royal New Zealand Yacht Squadron coming in from the left as well. Well, it'll all start to pan out now as we make the final few boat lengths to the top mark. Everyone pretty much coming in on the port lay line, but one or two boats on the starboard lay line. Royal Hong Kong Yacht Club look like they're in reasonable shape, and Ichner banged the right hand side as well. Japan Sailing Federation coming back for another go.
remember we have the keep away mark set up downwind of the weather mark, so that sometimes can even compress that port lay line, where if you got to sail a little low to clear that mark, all of a sudden you find yourself driving a little deeper into the traffic.
So on board with Ichner Sailing Club right now. Let's go through the crew. They are looking reasonably clear air. I think Japan Sailing Federation just slightly to leeward of them, as they're faintly overstood for this top mark, I think. Yeah, looks like it. And the Ichner team comprised of Barry Sampson, a long-standing supporter of this fantastic event. Andy Fitzgerald is helming with Nick Blevins, Celia Hansett, Louise Johnson, Liza McDonnell, Andrew Tarbotton, William Van Dyke, and Henry Woods. That's your Ichner sailing team, and all of these boats here now coming into the overlaid, are they?
Yeah, there's our keep away mark, and you know, the space between that pink buoy and the mark is a no-go, and you can see these guys on the port tack going to start bearing away pretty soon, and that fleet is going to compress big time. That was a great invention, that keep away mark, and I think the New York Yacht Club was a pioneer in it, just to prevent the bad habits of a lot of pro sailors coming in late port tack, forcing you wouldn't be part of that, would you? Forcing owners into these kind of bad situations, boats rounding, boats jibe setting, into the chaos. So that keeps the
and you're blaming the pro sailors.
Oh, it's always the pro sailors,
right?
Which is the beauty of this event as an all Corinthian amateur event, right? No pros here, so this is always clean sailing, and you can usually tell by the end of regatta by how few protests ultimately get lodged.
Well,
they like to keep it clean.
That's the difference, is it? All right.
Yeah.
Well, here we go. Look at them all. They're coming in and having to honour that keep away mark there. Bow number 5, San Diego, bearing away. New York Yacht Club just ahead of them. And then it's this final. Here we go with the leaders, Hong Kong Yacht Club, doing a nice job around the top there. And here we got all the other boats. Oh, yeah, they're trying to... The starboard tackers putting the bow down, trying to stop the port tackers from getting inside at the top here. And this...
Yeah, well,
this will be interesting to see how it all pans out here.
Yeah, boy, this is the pressure level going through the roof here as a technician trying to talk the driver through all of this.
Oh, on board with Royal Swedish. This isn't going to go well. Oh, here they go. Jam it in, stab it up, trying to make the mark. It might be all right. Oh, head to wind there. Yeah, oh no, this is going to be bad news, Bears.
Yeah, they're going to come out slow, right? And then you're going to bunch up the group behind you. And meanwhile, the Royal Hong Kong Yacht Club is off and running.
And their boat's bailing out.
Yeah, this is going to create some nice separation.
Half did a great job because they were on the left-hand side. It wasn't all one way. And then 17, Yacht Club Costa Smeralda, looking nice as well. And then we've got New York Yacht Club. We've got the Germans from the Nordsee Regatta Verein. And we got number 2, Japan Sailing Federation. They did okay. 16, Royal Canadian. I think Ichner had a nightmare there. They had to jibe around, I think. Corinthian Yacht Club, about 20. The Nylandska Yacht Klubben from Finland. There's Ichner just to windward of them in boat number 9. On board cameras today, Yacht Club Argentino, Royal Canadian, Royal Swedish, and Ichner Sailing Club. Katie, out on the water. You were with Ichner today. What did they give you for insight, and what's going on right now out there at the windward mark?
Oh my gosh, I feel bad because I feel like I'm a bit of a bad penny when it comes to being on board and then having the team not do so hot. I warned them. But Barry, what a lovely gentleman. You know, he was giving me some insight into the club and how Yacht Club really takes great time and care to get more youth sailors involved in big boat sailing. And I think that's really the name of his team. He's been competing since 2011 in this event, first in the Swans, now in the ICs. Talks about, just really being a proponent of getting more youth sailors involved in big boat sailing, as I just mentioned. This is a newer team for his crew. They've never raced in this event altogether before, but a lot of them have been practicing over the course of the summer in the Cape. And while they did mention that they do prefer the Cape a bit more, they do like sailing on the IC-37, then they just all are super pumped to be here. But again, I feel I feel terrible being a bad penny. They're in the back of the fleet now, but making their way into the mix. I think eyes on to the rest of the race.
Well done, Katie. That's great. And Yacht Club Argentino, 2-2-1 in the first 3 races. It looks like they're yellow spinnaker towards the back. What's going on there?
Yeah, it was an interesting rounding for them. I think they're going to have to claw their way out of this a bit. I did have a chat with some of the crew members in Yacht Club Argentino after their banner of the day yesterday, and they did mention that flat water is very similar to able to practice on back at home in Argentina. If anyone's ever been to Argentina, it's this really interesting brackish water where the river kind of meets the sea. And so they do enjoy flat water, so I think maybe the sea fate is just not being kind to them today. But light air is definitely their preferred from the crew members that I was able to chat with. So hopefully they make their way, they get that golden spinnaker back up to the top of the fleet.
Okay, on board with Itchner, great pictures right there of them coming downwind. Not in the greatest shot though, Itchner 9th, 10th right now. Nick Blevins there and gang as all the boats now start to jibe onto port. Royal Hong Kong Yacht Club leading, and they now decide that they need to get towards the bottom mark. We've had a mark the robots who are taking over the world. We have MarkBot robots who they're able to move the marks around. You know about this, Dave. The MarkBots.
Yeah, the MarkBots. The race committee can program them from the primary race committee boat, tell them where to go. The marks are always moving to where they need to be, and then they hold on station. It's amazing technology. Definitely kind of cut back on volunteers having to haul up anchors all day long and dealing with testy race committee types, tell them to hurry up. And so, it's changed the game a lot, being able to adjust the courts and keep things going quickly.
And those robot MarkBot, they don't talk back to the race committee.
No, and they zero beer.
Zero beer required afterwards.
Yeah, no lunches, no sandwiches. No.
However, on days like today, when it's a little bumpy, no good.
Yeah, he doesn't like the MarkBots.
They failed today. They've had to replace them. The MarkBots have been sent home in disgrace. And we've had to go traditional. So we're going to have some tired old men at the New York Yacht Club who've been humping anchors up and down, anchors in and out.
They've been prepping for this all year long, the last 2 years.
They're members, they can buy their own beer.
Yeah. Well, the Ishnoor guys, as Katie mentioned, they like the flat water. I think the race committee's goal was to knock off as many races as they can out on the open water of Rhode Island Sound before things get a little breezy at the end of the week, and anticipating moving all the racing inside Narragansett Bay for the rest of the week. So they may struggle out there today, but maybe like in the flat water tomorrow.
Yeah, maybe we're inside tomorrow. Who knows? Royal Canadian Yacht Club on board with them right now. Maybe just run us through the crew, Dave, of the Royal Canadian winners back in...
the Royal Canadians, they've been part of this for a long time.
Yeah, 2013 and I think 2011. They won in 11 and 13. And in 2011, they won by a country mile. They won by 20 points. That was a very dominating day. Just talk us through that.
Yeah, their history here, obviously, as you mentioned, they've won one, but they're in 2019. They started off with a second, and they won it in 2011 and 2013 as well, and 10th in 2015, 4th 2019, continue their slide to 6th in 2021, and the word around the tent is that this will be Terry McLaughlin's possible last regatta here. But on board with the Canadians, Terry McLaughlin helming, Lance Fraser calling tactics and working the rest of the boat. Sandy Andrews, Scott Collison, Chantal Hurst, Andrew McTavish, Ingrid Mary, and John Millen. Good young team as well, as far as I know.
Yeah, McTavish, he's a good dude.
Oh yeah, the roster here, the resume of the crew basically takes 2 pages on our cheat sheet. So a lot of talent on that boat.
What was Terry's? Just give me Terry's Olympic. What were his Olympic highlights?
Are you ready? Do we have enough time?
I know, right? Yes, we do. Do it.
All right, let's go. So Terry McLaughlin, 84 Olympic silver medalist in the Flying Dutchman. What a sweet
medalist.
boat. Yeah,
That's got to be pretty nice.
Oh, Flying Dutchman. What a great boat. Making a comeback. In 2015, the Pan Am Games, a silver medalist, and then went on to a bunch of runs with the America's Cup with all the Canadian teams, kind of won in 83, Louis Vuitton, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, quite a bit of rich history, and he is the face of Canadian sailing.
Excellent. Well, lovely to have you all here watching. We're going to run through all the teams, the crews. We're going to give you some live commentary from out on the water, our wonderful Katie Nastro. We're also going to give you our very best synopsis of how the races go over the next few days. We got Jakob in the track giving us just playing with his shots and his angles right there, and it's a little mix up in the standings here. Maybe I can get Jakob to go just give us the whole view once you've done this wonderful run through on the race course. Here we go. Jakob's going up.
Yeah, I think what we saw was that long port tack going up the beat, transitioned to a long starboard tack down the run, and there were a couple of boats that bailed out early out of the mark. Bit of a desperation move, probably, or you got to make a move at some point to try to do something different in the back, and so I think what we're seeing is the convergence of the two sides here.
Look at this. So the boats that carried on starboard out of the top mark: New York Yacht Club, Houth, San Diego, and behind them Royal Cork, Itchener. They look like they're doing okay here. The boat's crossing. A beautiful shot from the drone, and we're getting some prefrontal systems from this storm coming in. Look at that. It's a great example of just a small ridge of a small ridge, and behind that ridge there's going to be some right-handed air and some rain. We expect that in an hour or two, a couple of hours maybe. And that's a great example of the ridge in front of us right there. I'm no meteorologist, so feel free to correct me on all the socials.
There's a lot of action in the sky.
There's action. There's things happening, and all the boats coming together now. I think as we look upwind, the left-hand side has done a little better. Royal Hong Kong Yacht Club still taking the lead. New York Yacht Club getting back into it. Peter McClellan has a big mission and quite a lot of responsibility on his shoulders, flying the flag of the New York Yacht Club here at their home-owned event. Speaking of correcting me on social media, wonderful to have you all watching. YouTube, Facebook. We got a feed on Instagram? We're doing stories on Instagram. Yeah, there's stories on Instagram for those of you with a very short attention span. Otherwise, those a little more considered can be on the YouTube or the Facebook. And I'll bring you on boards. Royal Swedish behind Yacht Club Argentino, who are clawing their way back into this right now. But boy, it's going to be busy around this bottom mark. And the question is, which way to go on the upwind? Because I don't really know right now, because the right was good. I think probably I'd err on the right-hand side, but it wasn't very good. There was a point where it wasn't very good. Anyway.
Yeah, I think this has got to be an important day for the New York Yacht Club, right? They started off with the 14th in the first race yesterday and went, and but bounced back nicely with a 3 and a 6, and as you know, they didn't lose it on the first day, as that old saying goes, but certainly kept themselves in the hunt, and they've got plenty of races to keep nudging themselves back up into the top, I think, where they rightfully belong as the host, and working hard to get into this event.
Round the bottom mark, Hong Kong Yacht Club. I can hear Katie bouncing around in what looks like a slightly lightening breeze. It looks like it's dropping off a bit. Katie, what do you see? Paint the picture for us.
Yeah, the breeze is definitely down from when we started out here. I want to say it's probably around 9, maybe gusting up to 10, maybe between 8 and 10. you really can see that as they're coming around the leeward marks here, you can see Yacht Club Costa Smeralda, it's like kind of just painfully cut. But Hong Kong Yacht Club really kind of punching out, getting to the right side. It looks like they're going to go right again, coming into some breeze now. And interesting about them, I caught up with some of their teammates, and there's quite a time difference coming from Hong Kong. So I think the first day, they had to work through a little bit of jet lag, and now they're just kind of getting into it. So eyes on them for sure. As we make our way to now the Japan Sailing Federation coming into that leeward mark, they're also going to the right side, as well as my eyes are killing me today. I believe that is the German team. We're going to work on the pronunciation of that Yacht Club name. And then San Diego, interestingly enough, splitting from the pack and choosing to go left, seeing if that left side works out for them again, which they really played that middle left. Did okay, better than yesterday. So, sorry about that. My eyes tricked me, and that was not San Diego Yacht Club. They're actually going right. I will give you an update of the boats going left shortly.
New York, looks like New York Yacht Club going to the left-hand side. Yeah.
Correct.
It looks pretty busy down there.
Oh, yeah, look at the overstands. For a couple of these guys coming in on that port, it's going to be busy on that right-hand gate mark.
You want to get away, and the two boats that have got away, Yacht Club Costa Smeralda and Royal Hong Kong Yacht Club. I guess they're from China, Royal Hong Kong Yacht Club. Is that right? I'm going to do a little research about that. Yeah, there we go. All right, New York Yacht Club coming out on that left-hand side. Any sort of left-hand shift though, and New York Yacht Club suddenly in good shape.
Boy, hard sailing in the back of the fleet there. Everybody's just jumbled together, and there was a fair bit of place changing coming out of that gate. And
there was. Yeah, Yacht Club Argentino had a shocker. They went round they had to go around the outside of everybody. Royal New Zealand Yacht Squadron, who were in great shape, now no good. Didn't get it right on that. As we look upwind, this left-hand mark, these are the boats that went around the left-hand mark, and that wasn't great. Royal Swedish Yacht Club now having to tack away. Royal New Zealand Yacht Squadron, boat number 14. Now they're in dirty air of the Royal Vancouver Yacht Club, so they're looking to get away as well. Oh, can they tack and cross Yacht Club Punta del Este? Yes, I think they can, but hunting for clear air now. Leading the left-hand side, Royal Cork Yacht Club.
Yeah, this is this hard part of the regatta, right? Trying not to get bounced around down at the bottom of the course where the air is all chopped up. You get a lot of quarter wakes. It's a terrible part of the race course. You just got to get out of it. And boy, when you get people tacking on you, it just makes it even more painful. So you can see New York Yacht Club happy to have some clean air to put the bow down and just get it going fast.
Too much tacking, particularly when you're down speed, but also today, because it's bumpy, tacking is very costly.
Bumpy is an understatement, gentlemen. Bumpy is an understatement.
Understatement. We can get bigger than bumpy.
Bumpy? What is it then? If it's not bumpy, what's the commentator's description of wave height and a period?
Higher than me.
Bust out your thesaurus while you're on the water, King. You need more than bumpy.
Bumpy. We need an upgrade on bumpy. Katie, just tell us, what do you see? How is it?
Hi, gentlemen. Yes, bumpy. We need a new adjective because we're trying to make our way up the course now, and definitely coming into quite some sea state out here. Now, the breeze is definitely down again from where we saw it earlier today. Sorry about that. But it's looking like the flows went left are in a bit of better pressure. So I'm curious to see if there is a shift happens that gets them to hitch their way up and get those marks a little bit better than the boats on the right. Today's one of those interesting days because of the forecast later in the week. All of the teams that I've chatted with, the first day you have jitters, you're kind of just getting your bearings, you're getting your communications down. But the second day, it's really kind of a make it or break it day, whether or not you're going to be in that top half or that bottom half. And so every race really counts. So, we've stepped on today, but I'm just curious to see how, with all this kind of, fleet converging and place shifting where things shake out to the end of the day. But again, lots more races to go.
Yeah, up there in second place is a team we have not yet talked about, the Yacht Club Costa Smeralda, which just last week finished their Rolex Maxi Yacht World Championships and stuff, right?
Amazing.
Arguably one of the most beautiful, if not the most beautiful club in all the Mediterranean. I don't know, you know, by the time there what a place. And skippering for them, Antonio Sotomigliori and tactician Eduardo Mancinelli. Scotti. How's my Italian? I'm gonna pretend Italian. Anyway, man, they're used to sailing in big waves and big lump and this kind of stuff, and they are stepping out nicely here in this fourth race. Just in front of the group here with Royal Hong Kong Yacht Club out front. Nice place to be.
Very good. Yeah, Yacht Club Costa Smeralda, beautiful. Every year they hold the Maxi World Championships, and they built that club some years ago and dug out the marsh, and it was the Aga Khan who decided that the location for the Yacht Club Costa Smeralda on the Amalfi Coast, just north of Olbia, would be a great spot for racing, and so it has proved.
Oh, it is. It's up there with Lake Garda as the
windy, often windy.
Places you got to go sail before you die.
Here we go, Itchner Sailing Club, called Itchner because it was settled by a Norseman called Icke, I-C-C-E, and the N and the O are the landing spot of Icke, Itchenor. And it's a very small sailing club. Only about 500 or 600 people live in the village of Itchenor near Chichester Harbour. But they're showing some pretty good speed. Oh, here we go. They had a slight issue on board there. I think they were waving them across as we get pictures of New York Yacht Club. Bow number 4.
Yeah, what we're seeing today is a flip of yesterday, right? All the teams that were up front all day yesterday find themselves in the back of the pad here, piling on points. And you know, again, those are the back-to-back yesterday are leading this group, and here goes the inversion on the scoreboard happening right before us.
Yeah, who is this just tacked to Luard of Itchner? Royal Vancouver. Yeah. That's a dangerous place to tack for the Royal Vancouver Yacht Club. If they... Yeah, I think they've just about got up to speed.
They are the second of our Royal Canadian clubs here, not to be mistaken with our friends in Toronto. These guys are hailing from the West Coast over in Vancouver, British Columbia, with Ben Mumford skippering and calling tactics Hunter Loudon, who's got quite a resume as well there.
Itchner may have to double tack away here. Looks like they've just got stuck in a jam slightly. They're now, you can see what happens when you have what's called a thin lane. You start to get dirty air, you start to slow down a bit, and in this bumpy, choppy stuff, it's no good. So what Itchner are trying to do here is they're just trying to push them up towards those other two boats before they tack away, because I would imagine Royal Vancouver will also tack, but there still seems to be a bit on the right. I'll give you scores on the doors. Royal Hong Kong Yacht Club Costa Smeralda, Hoth Yacht Club, and Hoth similarly a name of Norse origin. I think Hoth is Norse head, because they're on a headland, a very fancy part of Northern Ireland.
Beautiful part of Ireland, I'm told. And they started with the 7th of the first race yesterday, and then followed up with the 15th and the 17th, and yeah, they're happy to be up front here.
Royal Hong Kong Yacht Club coming from the left-hand side. Doesn't look too bad, left.
Yeah, I think this is just about, especially in this lumpy stuff, right? Just being able to sail the boat fast, not get bounced around, avoid the tacks. But I think the fleet's a little more centered up than they were off the first start. We're less trying to get less hung out on the sides as they were the last time. But you can see on the water here, at least from this camera perspective, the breeze is touching down in some places. There's a lot of action in the sky, which is going to create a lot of the action on the water as well, with the puffs less predictable and less, sort of these persistent shifts like they had yesterday. A little more erratic. And the Royal Swedish Yacht Club, we're told, this skipper driver has, with a partner, has actually taken ownership of the amazing J-class vessel Svea, and they're straight out of the Maxi Yacht Rolex Worlds as well. And according to our ace reporter Sean McNeil, who's doing the press for the event, they had a 4 a.m. breakfast straight off the plane yesterday and got right to the racing and won the first race.
Well done.
How about that, huh?
Yeah, well done there. Very good. Royal
Svea.
Hong Kong Yacht Club Costa Smeralda, Japan Sailing Federation, Hoth Yacht Club. Now, Hoth, actually, before they were called Hoth, they were actually named Edros, or Edri Deserta was the name of the peninsula that Hoth now sits on, and that was in Ptolemy's 2nd century map of Ireland. There you go. Oof. So it's not always been Hoth, but it is now, and we love it. 07 Royal Hong Kong Yacht Club, the leaders currently.
Yeah, not much has changed here for this Fund 3. Again, sort of separated from the bulk of the pack, and the position changes are all happening on down from 5th to 10th, and that's where it looks to be the bulk of the group.
Yeah, now how are our leaderboard? Where is our Yacht Club Argentino? How are our runners and riders at the front?
I had to report the Yacht Club Argentina is pretty deep.
Oh, 18th.
Yeah.
That's going to add a few to that.
Yeah.
Very, very skinny 5 points currently. Bow number 7, still the Royal Hong Kong Yacht Club. And leading. Good for them. Who are the other runners and riders? Royal New Zealand Yacht Squadron currently overall in 2nd spot, and they're now in 12th. Itchner Sailing Club. Royal Swedish Yacht Club, where are they? They're not good either.
No, we're the only true to form sort of pulling forward from yesterday's group here, New York Yacht Club in frame, and they've sailed a good race here. Just again, I think they were able to get out of the fray, and they've been sailing up this course pretty surgically.
San Diego and New York. This might be a moment where you say a little experience, a cliched saying, if you like. The cream rise to the top.
Oh, is this rising?
And New York Yacht Club and San Diego Yacht Club both coming good on this tricky day. W4 we are today, so this is the final upwind round this top mark down towards the bottom. Great shot here. Look at the different puffs of breeze on the racecourse. Top of the picture you can see a puff that has just gone past those boats, and a good example of the fact that the weather conditions are quite changeable at the moment. We've got a lot of activity, what they call in meteorological terms the Cape, which is the amount of energy that is around in the atmosphere. Some days when it's calm and still, and there's not a lot of temperature gradients or differences, the Cape very low. But as soon as you start to get a lot of heating, or you get a lot of thermal activity, or you get a high and low pressure getting close to each other and moving around, it shoots the Cape up, and that's when you get wind changes, you get rain, you get thunderstorms, all sorts. Cape.
Action.
Cape, it's called. And I'll have to find out what Cape stands for. I'm sure it stands for something.
I feel smarter already. I think maybe tomorrow we can get in guest here. The Corinthian Yacht Club out of Marblehead has on their team a true meteorologist who can explain that for you, I think. An MIT.
Okay, well, I'm glad to see I've set it off on the old YouTube, because Hoth, the Hoth Yacht Club has its location in Northern Ireland. I'm right about that, aren't I? No, Dublin. Yeah, it's not Northern Ireland. It's just outside Dublin. My apologies. Hoth. We got the pronunciation right. We'll just get the location a little better. We're just tuning up here. Let's go out to Katie for some real facts out on the water.
Yeah, that was great. I was going to correct you, Andy, but you know what? I'll let you run with it. Yeah, just another fun fact about House or Host.
Host.
The first iteration of the Invitational Cup that they were able to make was in 2021, and we had the youngest sailor on board, Rocco, who's not joining us this iteration. The only crew member from the last iteration is Luke Malcolm. I had a chance to catch up with him. And one of his old crew members, Brian, actually sent me a nice Facebook message just to let him know that he's rooting for the team. And, everybody back in Ireland is also rooting for them. And, I can't wait to see them do well. And so, actually, we're up at the top marks. Royal Hong Kong Yacht Club really sailed a great second upwind leg. And if they can just keep this kind of punchy lead that they have, we might see them take home a win early in the day, which would be pretty fantastic for them. Right behind them, again, Costa Smeralda coming in, really doing a great job at managing these rollers out here. Again, we're trying to think. I'm thinking maybe instead of rollers and bumpy, we think chunky.
Chunky.
Chunky, a little bit chunky out here. And Andy, I'm keeping my eyes on the weather patterns for you. I do see a bit of a line making its way kind of north, and then we should see some rain patterns coming in the next hour, as you mentioned. It's going to be it's nice and calm out here, and it's going to be a wet one later in the day, ladies and gentlemen.
Lumpy, chunky. I like chunky. It gives an idea of sort of square waves, a little bumpy and chunky. Anyway, the Royal Hong Kong Yacht Club, I had a drink with them a couple of nights ago. My old mate Matt Curtois from Southampton, is that him down there, to leeward trimming? He is doing a good job. Pete and Ambush Drew, the very famous Hong Kong, what do I call him? Socialite, entrepreneur, general man about town. And they're doing a great job. Their crew, Duncan, Gregor. Now, Peter Back, interesting, the helmsman, he went to the 29er Worlds in 2018 and helmed Etchen's Worlds 2015. I think that must be 49er Worlds in 2018. And won the Hong Kong match racing this year. Pretty competent helmsman, so he'll know how to do it in the front of the fleet. That was a glimpse we got of New York Yacht Club. Royal Swedish Yacht Club look like they are battling hard. There's a red flag there. That's not going to help them, either against them or for them or whatever. There'll be some Scandinavian language, North Viking language on board, I think, right now with that red flag. We can't hear the onboard, so we're hoping we can listen in a bit.
Yeah, there's one unique thing to this event that we do have on-the-water umpires, and so the protests are handled swiftly, if I understand, on the water, immediately following the races. So that keeps things people out of the protest room and into the parties. The socials after sailing are gigantic here at the New York Yacht Club, and so we go on board with Swedish Yacht Club. We're going to get some audio. Not yet. Viewers will enjoy this.
Aboard with Yacht Club Argentino, yellow spinnaker showing that they're leaders overnight. Not going to be leaders after this day, but they will keep the spinnaker throughout the day. So it's decided at the end of each day. And actually, Peter, he did sell the 29ers. Peter and Duncan did the 29er Worlds in 2018. Duncan was 14 and Peter's 30 something. Okay, let's give you a little rundown of the runners and riders, where the standings are. Royal Hong Kong Yacht Club Costa Smeralda, Japan Sailing Federation, Nordoster Regatta Varin, the German team, Hoth Yacht Club San Diego, Royal Sydney, Royal Canadian, Royal Cork, New York in 10th. They've slipped a bit. Royal Vancouver, Finland from the Lailandska Yachtklubben, Royal Swedish, Royal Vancouver, Southern in 14th. Defending champs. Sucking the lemons a bit today. Too many beignets last night at the bar.
Yeah, I wasn't going to say, but yeah, I think, belly full of donuts.
Donuts, yes, exactly. It's not, beignet's not a drink, it's an eat. What do they drink down in New Orleans?
Hurricanes.
They drink hurricanes for breakfast.
Yeah. Plenty.
And grenades! Don't forget about the grenades!
The beignets. Now, Katie, you were there last night. Tell us how it was.
Oh gosh, I mean, Southern hospitality is really bar none. It was incredible. We had crawdads, we had beignets from Cafe du Monde, or Cafe du Monde style beignets, I should say. There was po' boys, there was muffaletta, there was punch. It was incredible, and there was, of course, beef. You know, there's one thing that I have to say. New York Yacht Club for the Invitational Cup really rolls out the absolute red carpet when it comes to hospitality and social events. And not one person that I've talked to yet has been disappointed and is so much looking forward to not just the racing, obviously, but also just the camaraderie and the social aspect of this event. You know, some of the younger crew members that haven't experienced an Invitational Cup just keep saying how cool they think it is that they're able to meet people from other yacht clubs around the world, you know, kind of make lifelong friends that they'll be able to visit if they travel, near and far. And so it's really just amazing, not only, of course, Corinthian spirit, but just the camaraderie. And New York Yacht Club really does an amazing job at making it, giving us a canvas to be able to play within. So, yeah, again, everybody has said thank you to New York Yacht Club for just making this event, bar none, incredible.
Great tradition, the Defenders Dinner. Royal and Southern Yacht Clubbers, the winners, got to choose the menu and got to host the dinner last night here at Harbour Court. And that is a new tradition, something America is extremely good at, doing new traditions.
And it all builds up to the Rolex award ceremony on Saturday, which is the party to be at.
Yeah. We'll be doing that in the basement. 50 knot gusts forecast for Saturday, and it's the Newport Boat Show right now. And tonight, the famous lobster bake. That's not a new tradition. That's been going on a few editions now.
And for those of you joining us on this live stream on all the channels, we are into race 4, the first race of the day. We had 3 yesterday to start this 2023 edition, and we are approaching the bottom of the course. And we're being told that if the Royal Hong Kong Yacht Club continues to hold this, of their 6 times doing this regatta, 78 races sailed, this could be their first win.
Wait, their very first win? Didn't they win one other race? They won one other race?
Check with our statistician.
Did they win one other race, or is this going to be their first win?
That's what we're hearing. We'll have to confirm that with our in-house statistician.
Laura Beagle doing an amazing job.
Stats are cranking out, but...
Will this be their first win or their second win? Just for confirmation for Hong Kong. Laura.
Oh, be correct.
I think it's their second, but it'll be their second win. Well, now the challenge is, when was their first win?
78 races. That's a lot of races over the years.
That is a lot of races, yeah. For them.
And that's the goal here right this week, is to get us a nice long regatta. You get in as many races as you can and make it worth you feel like the effort to get here, the 2 years to practice and build your team. This is not your normal 3-day regatta. This takes a lot of work, and it can be a long week.
And they've been here practicing for a number of days already, right? Yeah, they won the second race in 2017, the Royal Hong Kong Yacht Club.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming.
On their way to coming 6th overall with 85 points in 2017.
And that was their best finish.
Yeah,
right?
very good. Yep. Here they come. Breeze up a bit here now. Katie out on the water. We'll throw to her. Have you tell us about the breeze? Looks to us from the pictures, breeze is up.
Yeah, it's up on the left side of the course a little bit, so all those boats kind of making their way from that left side looking upwind are in a bit more pressure. Trying to close in the gap on Royal Hong Kong, but I really think that it is kind of in the bag at this point. Just to your point earlier, you had said keep eyes out for some storms. I think it's going to come to fruition in about an hour-ish, so seeing a lot of cloud pattern, a lot of dark cloud pattern, not the good kind, kind of right in front of us if you're looking up towards the Yacht Club or into the mouth of the harbor there. So I think, it's going to be interesting to see what happens next with this weather pattern coming through. Definitely have time to get everybody finished, but race committee will definitely be keeping us posted on what happens next.
Excellent. Yeah, that was the word at the skippers meeting this morning with PRO Lynn Lynch. She is the mastermind of all this action here, and the goal was to get these races, finish them, turn them around just super quick, no time for lunches, and just get them right back into the racing, and which is hard for some teams, especially when you come out of a bad race, just to get everybody back on board, recalibrated, not worrying about it, moving on, quick power bar, water, get right into it. But these races will turn around fast, no doubt, today to try to beat that weather.
Here we go, boats coming together now.
This is
Plenty of breeze now. Royal Sydney Yacht Squadron just jibing on top of San Diego, so that's bow number 3. A little bit over trimmed, overturned. There'll be some helmsman debrief in that one, right?
Yeah.
A little over trim, little overturn, and San Diego Yacht Club putting the bow up to go fast. This is nice sailing from them, rolling over the top of the Japan Sailing Federation and keeping their breeze clear on the Royal Sydney Yacht Squadron. San Diego, Sydney and New York, Royal New Zealand Yacht Squadron, those teams making a good fist of it today. But Royal Hong Kong Yacht Club looks good, coming down towards the finish, Dave.
Yeah, but as we've been yapping here, slipping into second place, a team we definitely have not talked about yet, the Nordische Regatta Verein, the Germans from Hamburg, have worked that side, right side, put themselves right in the sweet spot there.
Right. Hamburg.
Just like that.
Germany. I sailed with a coffee trader from Hamburg, Mr. Herr Dietrich, for many years. Great guy, and some excellent sailors coming out of Hamburg. Some excellent food coming out of Hamburg. If you didn't know it, that is the home of the hamburger. And it was brought to America by German immigrants, and it was sort of roast beef in a hot roll. And that became the hamburger. You can try and find the origin story and check that that's correct. There are about 100 different stories
I like your story.
Of American restaurants trying to claim the hamburger as their own, but I'm pretty sure it was brought in by immigrants. Here we go, across the finishing line. Royal Hong Kong Yacht Club, good job. Well done to the team, come from a long, long way away and are very happy about that.
They gotta love that one.
Well done. Second, coming down towards the finishing line, looks like it's going to be close between the Yacht Club Costa Smeralda. There come the Germans, boat number 11 on port. So I think Yacht Club Costa Smeralda doing a very nice job of coming in second, not their usual front of the fleet fighting. So they've done a lovely, lovely job right there, as well as the Germans getting themselves into it. And here we go. We got some maple leaf on Canadian violence here with the two North American boats from Canada jibing on top of each other.
This is a potential point grab here happening with New York Yacht Club.
Yeah. San Diego.
Oh, was that San Diego?
No, New York Yacht Club and San Diego point grabbing over the current leaders of the day, Argentino, Royal Swedish, Itchner, and the Yacht Squadron all having less than stellar first races here on the Wednesday, day 2.
Yeah, and I think the New York Yacht Club is going to grab this point from the Germans who had that jibe. Came across the group, and is this going to be an end? Favorite end?
Japan Sailing Federation and the Germans. Can we see anyone else?
It'd be great to see an overhead angle of this.
So I think Very close. Katie,
Look at
update
that.
us. Tell
Inches.
us.
Yeah. So, City Yacht Club just pulled a fast one and got that point over New York Yacht Club, and they look pretty happy about that.
Yeah.
I do not think Peter is too thrilled at that one. I saw a lot of hands going up. I heard some yelling. I don't want to just quite, repeat what I heard, but
Yeah.
City Yacht Club definitely got lucky there.
New York Yacht Club just behind San Diego Yacht Club, but in front of Hoth. Is that correct?
That is correct. And right behind host is Royal Sydney Yacht Squadron. And I think the story of the day is that the Germans had a really fantastic race. They were able to drive over and cut across quite a few boats, kind of coming out of nowhere.
Here we go, another tight finish. Royal Cork Yacht Club, and that's the Corinthian Yacht Club from Marblehead. I think Royal Cork is going to be okay. Shouting and screaming. Listening.
It is now a pile
Protest. Terry.
Really tricky.
Oh, we're watching. Oh, it's a disaster. Look at that. There's going to be some late night protesting here because the Canadians have not finished. They didn't get any room. No, that's the Southern Yacht Club. Didn't make
Southern Yacht
it.
Club.
Yeah, didn't make it across the line. Got squeezed out of the pin. And were they entitled to room? I think probably were. This is going to be a late night in the protest room. There's Terry McLaughlin. He had his red flag up. He was giving a pretty frank summary of what he thought was going on. And here, the Southern Yacht Club, the current leaders, spinnaker down, having to go back and finish correctly. No other boats. They're going to be... Oh, well, there's one other boat. Oh, my word. Southern. Well...
Yeah, we were in the wrong camera angle for
that was a...
Yeah, go ahead, Katie.
That was a true... Sorry, guys. That was a true cluster. We were down at the finish, and it was like mayhem. Everybody finishing at the same time. Southern got squeezed out. Weren't able... Red flags were flying. You want to see it, but you don't want to see it. It's exciting, but also very frustrating for the sailors to be. So, yeah, very, very easy to see what shakes out in the protest room. And, yeah, just now, Southern had to drive out and come back up and are just now finishing, which is kind of heartbreaking for them.
Oh, painful. And the Yacht Club Punta del Este wrapping it up in 19th spot. So that's an 18th for the defending champion Southern Yacht Club. Now, Katie, you said nobody likes to see it. I'm going to have to disagree. I love to see it.
Hey, here comes the pro sailor action.
I want to see. I want to see the glory of victory, and I want to see the dashing sickness of defeat, especially when it comes when it comes like that. That is awful. Anyway, here we go. Results of race number 4. Dave, walk us through it.
All right, Royal Hong Kong Yacht Club winning. There's one for the first Regatta Yacht Club, Costa Smeralda on top. The Nordische Regatta Veteran coming in late. Japan Sailing Federation 4th, and San Diego Yacht Club grabbing that 5th place spot, exactly what they needed. And now is the time for the umpires to do their job. There's going to be a lot of action here, and that may pause the jump into the next race of the day. And we'll see.
Yeah, they can give out. I think we'll have to get the update from the umpires. We've got some media calls on the WhatsApp channel, and we'll check exactly what's going on. But quite the first race. We saw some topsy-turvy, and the defenders from last year no good, but also the top of the leaderboard from yesterday no good either. Seeing a resurgence from New York Yacht Club and the San Diego Yacht Club as well. Dave.
No, I love it. We're going to see all the teams in the mix, and this is exactly the way it's going to set up for a good second race.
Excellent. Second race coming up just in a moment. We'll be back to you live. Don't go away.
The 2023 Rolex New York Yacht Club Invitational Cup is presented by title sponsor Rolex. Our 2023 New York Yacht Club Regatta Association partners are Helly Hansen, Safe Harbor Marinas, Peters & May, and Hammett's Hotel.
Welcome to the New York Yacht Club in Newport, sailing capital of the United States. Here, at one of America's most prestigious sailing venues, the 2018 Resolute Cup unfolded. The New York Yacht Club has a long history of hosting premier sailing events, such as the biannual Rolex Invitational Cup for Corinthian sailors. Its companion event for U.S. yacht clubs, the Resolute Cup, as well as numerous national and world championships.
I think from a sailing point of view, in terms of the events we run, we try to put ourselves in a position where we're helping the sport, promote certain events that we think are important to the sport, like the Corinthian events, like the Invitational Cup and the Resolute Cup, which is a challenge amongst yacht clubs in the United States, and the Invitational Cup, which is a Corinthian event amongst yacht clubs around the world. So we see ourselves as one that fortunate enough to have a great venue and some great assets, and we like to see ourselves promote those kind of events with the resources we're lucky enough to have. This yacht club started with 9 yachtsmen in New York Harbor, and historically the membership has always been very involved in sailing and yachting generally. Even to this day, all our members have some interest. You know, to become a member of New York Yacht Club, you have to demonstrate some interest in yachting and yachting activities. So it is a membership of people who are united by their interest in yachting and on the water. In a lot of ways, we wanted to be sort of part of and social with and connecting with the rest of the yacht clubs around the United States. We think it's a very important kind of entity in the sailing community, the yacht club. Everything from our team racing events, which is a club-on-club event. We initiated that 20 years ago amongst teams in the United States.
2018 marks the 5th edition of the Resolute Cup, which featured the best amateur teams from 28 of the country's best yacht clubs. For the first time in its history, a non-USA club from Puerto Rico is in the lineup, demonstrating the appeal of this fiercely contested event.
The Resolute Cup was started in 2010 as the U.S. qualifying series for the New York Yacht Club Rolex Invitational Cup. 2 years ago it was renamed and has become the de facto U.S. keelboat championship for the best amateurs in the country. We're excited that this year there'll be 28 teams, including one team from San Juan, Puerto Rico. This is the first time that we've had a team from outside the lower 48. Competitors run the gamut from amateurs in their late teens and fresh out of college to older sailors over the age of 45. We have national champions, we have collegiate All-Americans, we have Pan Am Game medal winners, we have Olympic medal winners, and we have America's Cup sailors in this particular year. The geographic diversity of the event is extremely important. We have competitors from bays, rivers, inland lakes, West Coast, East Coast, Gulf of Mexico, and now, of course, the Caribbean with the San Juan entry. It's important that we do that so that the championship level remains high and the competition remains the best it can possibly be.
This year, the Resolute Cup is using the One Design sonar keelboats, which are rotated each day. Every boat has the exact same equipment and specifications to ensure the leaderboard is decided only by the skills of each team.
Well, the sonar is a wonderful boat that is a One Design class. All the boats are evenly matched and rigged, particularly here at New York Yacht Club. The boats have been maintained by the club. Every boat that we rotate into is structured the same way. Third time at the Resolute Cup, and every year progressively the club has become more and more supportive of this event and the awareness of the members is continually growing, and I think that is predicated on the New York Yacht Club's support in terms of the media coverage, the marketing of the event, and helping us really articulate what it is that we're doing.
Among the participants, we find famous sailors like Suzanne Leach, Clay Bischoff, Bill Lynn, and Augie Diaz. So the competition and fight for bragging rights was going to be as thrilling on the water as it was exciting for the spectators.
There is pressure between the big yacht clubs for the representing team to win, but I would say also there's pretty friendly competition, and it's at a level where everybody's going to sail really hard, but it's not going to get out of control. The Resolute Cup is very attractive because it's very even competition. We're all in the same boats, going at very much the same speed, so it comes down to what each team and crew is able to do to achieve a good result. And that's always very exciting because it takes the speed factor kind of out of the equation, so you have to have good starts and good positioning, and that's what it comes down to. Being at the New York Yacht Club is super special. Come on, you look around here and you see what's going on, and that's not just the tradition, but it's the people. The people here at the New York Yacht Club go out of their way to make you feel welcome. I have been here a number of times, and both for, like, say, laser Master Championships, and we were super welcome. So the Resolute Cup is very special, and the New York Yacht Club putting on an event like this is really great because it's a platform where all the clubs can send their representatives and have a great regatta, a great event under great conditions.
Every year, the popularity of the Resolute Cup builds, attracting more and more yacht clubs. 2018 featured 4 clubs making their debut on the start line, keen to feel the race intensity and excitement of competing against famous sailors and clubs from across America. And of course, be in with a shot of securing a place at the 2019 Rolex New York Yacht Club Invitational Cup.
In general, I'm just excited to be racing with all these awesome clubs that are here, and being part of the whole New York Yacht Club scene is pretty fun, and there's some awesome sailors here like Augie Diaz and a whole bunch of other people. There are definitely, a bunch of people at our club that are pretty excited about this whole thing. My family and our kind of close friends are pretty excited about it, and it's a lot of fun for all of us to be here. So hopefully this will be, something we do every other year. Our club, there's kind of similar conditions, like normally we have a lot of light wind days, so we haven't done too much preparation, but we had a couple, practice days, which was really helpful on the boat because I've never been on a sonar before and some of our crew hasn't, so I think the preparation days were pretty useful for us.
Reflecting the push in sailing to ensure equal opportunities for men and women, some teams fielded a balanced male-female ratio, with the Houston Yacht Club featuring more women than men. Sport is all about selecting the best athletes for the job, and the women's sailing pedigrees ran deep.
It was intentional for us to achieve gender balance. We felt it would portray a very well-rounded entry for the club if we had 2 men and 2 women sailing with us, and we thought that would be a fantastic representation of what the club has to offer. I think gender balance is really important in sailing. It's truly a family sport, and emphasizing the family aspect and the fact that you can have men and women sailing and competing together is something that's only going to help our sport grow in time and in the future. And so continuing to emphasize things like that is one of the best ways that our sport can continue to grow and stay relevant.
So the team was selected through a couple different ways. Sandra Baldridge was kind of the brainchild behind applying for this and having Houston Yacht Club do this. And so we sat down a year ago and applied and kind of thought out who we would want to be on the boat. And it wasn't a thought process of men or women, it was kind of who would work well together and who would represent Houston Yacht Club the best. And so it happened to be 3 females and a male, but it just came down to that we work well together on a boat.
Preparation is the most important aspect a team needs to secure top results, particularly in a sport like sailing, where both skills and strategy play a major role in delivering your racetrack plan.
For this year's Wrestler Cup, we practiced on our club IC24s because we don't have sonars back at our club. So we practiced quite a few times in order to train and prepare for this year's Wrestler Cup. So I think the key for winning or doing well at the Wrestler Cup is going to be consistency, especially at the starts. All boats, we expect them to be pretty similar in speed. So I think tactics and having good starts are going to be the keys to doing well. Great that, you know, it's the one design that all boats are going to be the same. We're rotating through boats. So I think that's going to demonstrate that the team with the best skills and the best sailing skills are going to be the winners at the end. This is our first time at the Wrestler Cup representing Club Náutico de San Juan. So we're aiming to get into the medal races on Saturday and get into the top 14 teams.
Amongst the numerous star names competing at the Resolute Cup, one of the most famous was Brad Dellenbaugh. He holds many years' experience as a former Olympic campaigner in the Soling, as chief umpire at the 2007 America's Cup, and also as a home court defender. Brad's familiarity with the rules and the wind definitely gave his team an edge.
You know, I have a lot of experience as an umpire and international judge, and I do a lot of regattas in the America's Cup and things. Does that apply here? Yeah, a little bit in the way I think about things. A lot of that comes from my coaching that I've done over the years too. It's just kind of a way to approach things and to stay out of trouble, not get into risk positions. So I kind of know what the consequences are. The Newport's my home territory now, and I've even before I moved here 12 years ago, you know, I've raced here lots and lots of times. Over the past bunch of years, I've been running regattas here, so I've been looking at the current and the wind and what goes on. You know, of course, now it's a little bit different than it's been in the past, but the current still goes in and out, and you know, the wind has certain channels that it likes to come down, so I think that's been an advantage.
A different kind of competition was unfolding between an athlete and her former coach. Olympian and America's Cup sailor Melissa Purdy was coached by Brad Dellenbaugh when she was at Brown University and was keen to secure the upper hand here in Newport.
It's a great competition. We're next to each other. It seems like every single race we're within a boat of each other, so it's been fun.
Over time, clearly Brad has watched enough racing to learn how to race because he's doing quite well.
Well, I love racing here at the New York Yacht Club. I've worked here for a number of years running the sailing office, and I used to do a lot of my sailing up here. And I live here now, so it's great to be local. So I've spent a lot of time out on the water here, umpiring or running regattas. But I really like having this type of regatta because it's kind of turnkey. You have all the boats are set up. You don't have to do any preparation. You come out and you're equal to everybody else. You rotate boats, and it's all sorts of people that I know from back at Augie Diaz. I used to race in college, and Melissa I used to coach.
Racing at Harbor Court, New York Yacht Club, is much more pleasant than San Francisco. It's not waves overhead and freezing. So it's definitely a much more pleasant experience.
The après-race hospitality at the Resolute Cup gives sailors from across the USA the opportunity to socialize, discuss racetrack movements, revisit old and discover new friendships.
The aspects of being at the Resolute Cup is the fact that it brings clubs together from all across the country, and you're able to sail with sailors that some of which you've sailed with since you were really young, but also some of which you'll never see again. And I think it's really cool, just the diversity of the amount of different types of sail. You get every type when you come here, and it's really, really cool to be able to be a part of it all. I definitely think I'm able to meet some interesting and famous people here. I'm sailing against some of the best sailors in the country and some of them in the world. And it's nice to be able to just kind of come in after the day and talk with some of the people that have been winning these races and winning the regatta maybe times in the past, and then go over and then just ask. Had a conversation with Billy Lynn from Corinthian, and I was like, so Billy, how do you just make the boat rumble, and how do you make it go fast? And he was really helpful and just so eager to continue to give more back and help me with getting off the line and get going. I mean, sailing it's the best sport in the world. I mean, you're on the water, it's competitive, it's hard racing, but once you get back, you're at New York Yacht Club, which is the best facility ever to sail a regatta out of. And then once you're able to go up onto the patio and have a drink with some of your friends, I mean, what more could you ask for?
The first 3 qualifying days were difficult for teams as the breeze evaporated.
You.
All right, welcome back to the studio here at the Rolex New York Yacht Club Invitational Cup. Andy Green, Katie Nasser is returning from the water, as the fleet is as well. This is the word from race committee. They were trying to get in to all the races before the weather came, but the weather came quick. So in quickly, they come back to the harbor after one super action-packed race. And this morning at the skipper's meeting, the espresso machine was cranking, and I feel like that was kind of the elevation of what was happening out on the water today. And this one belonged to the Royal Hong Kong Yacht Club. What'd you see?
Well, they did a great job. Royal Hong Kong Yacht Club sailed super, and they got it just about right. But I tell you, it was mixed up all the way through, because the top teams, no good at all. We had a 17th from Yacht Club Argentino, but remarkably, they remain in top spot by 3 points over Royal Swedish Yacht Club, who got a 12th. San Diego Yacht Club move up with a 5th. Royal New Zealand's got Yacht Squadron a 4th, and they got a 16th today. New York Yacht Club got back in the hunt. They're on 29 and 5th overall with a 6th today. Royal Hong Kong Yacht Club in 6th with that win today. 7th, Itchner. They got a 15th. And then Corinthian Yacht Club with a 10th. And go down the leaderboards. Check it all out on the socials. We've got YouTube and Facebook Live, and we'll bring that to you as soon as we get racing again. I think we're done for the day. And so I think that's it for the day. We're going to try and do 3, if not 4 races tomorrow, with plenty of breeze forecast for Friday afternoon and Saturday, Dave.
Oof. And 7 points is the delta, I guess, of the top 5 teams right here. So this is it's almost a bit of a restart, if you will, knowing that there could potentially only be 2 more days of racing if we get blown out on Saturday. So all of a sudden, this thing just gets ratcheted right up to almost be kind of a 2-day regatta for these top teams. And New York Yacht Club, I think they made their move into the top 5 today, and they'll be happy to be sitting there going into tomorrow, I think. So it's going to be good.
Yeah, great. Good job, New York Yacht Club, for hanging back in there. San Diego Yacht Club as well. And we will see, because, as you say, only 7 points between the lot. And that means it is all on for young and old tomorrow, 3 or 4 races. Well, give us all your comments on the socials, on the YouTube, the Facebook. Laura will be doing some stuff on Instagram and our Reels. It's lovely to have you all here for 2003 Rolex New York Yacht Club Invitational. We'll be back to you tomorrow.
The 2023 Rolex New York Yacht Club Invitational Cup is presented by title sponsor Rolex. Our 2023 New York Yacht Club Regatta Association partners are Helly Hansen, Safe Harbor Marinas, Peters & May, and Hammett's Hotel.